who does that thing, right? As in, part of that thing that we need to become is the ones who tell our stories, who tell other people's stories, who tell our elders' stories. You know, the ones who create and then document who we are as a people. So that luckily, you do a lot of that, Obi. I'm saying that more people need to know.
When I hear people talk about their experiences, particularly when you look at a situation like this, I think we are actually talking at the level of humanity here. We are talking about things that at the moment sometimes we have doubt. At the moment we challenge our worldview, our belief system, but we have the courage to even say we do. I think that make a lot of difference to put it on paper, put our name on it, sign it and say, this is my name, this is what I believe in.
Like I say, there's always that fear in the back of our minds that we've got nothing to say. What do I have to say? But the difference now is that I found a place, I found a sense of purpose. I found an area of business, of marketing that I'm truly specialist at.
Thank you for checking out Obehi podcast. We encourage people to own their story and share it with the world to expand their purpose. Before we start this presentation, I have something to quickly share with you. Are you a purpose-driven entrepreneur? Do you want to cut across the noise and attract your ideal client by leveraging your own story? Then pay attention. I have a signature program that can help you own your story. A 5-step transformative journey to reshape your professional and business narrative for success in less than 90 days. And it's available at academy.aclasses.org/story. This is what we have understood. Storytelling is the most powerful instrument known to man. And this is what that could mean to you. You can either own your story and use it to advance your purpose in your business and professional life, or someone else will do. The choice is yours. Now let's get started with today's episode of the Obehi podcast.
I am Eny Osung. My company is Global.Media, and what I do is make people famous. So I'm on a mission to get people to know who my friends are, what they do, their genius, how they help, and why they should trust them to do business with them. That's pretty much what I do. Of course, I want my friend. I got friends who are ambitious, who are creative, who provide solutions. So my job's to elevate them so people know who they are. They become celebrities in the minds of the target audience. That's a game I play every day, my friend.
That's lovely. That's a great thing to do. That is a great work. If your work is dedicated to other people, then there is a lot of joy in that, right?
I tell you that exactly that. Of course, there is a personal gain as well. So I think like all things, if you do good work, if you make other people, if you help them achieve their dreams, then they tend to pay you in the end, right?
Absolutely.
So the money comes always. I don't worry about money. I worry about doing good work every day, and then
that's good. And the money will come on its own.
always. It
is said that when you take care of the needs of the people will take care of your needs too. It's just that is just the way it goes.
Yeah, again, I think it's about finding. I don't know whether there's a moment in time, but it's finding your place in the world, right? Yeah. And I say even with this, you do your podcasting. Eventually you will become a recognized, celebrated podcaster, right? If you're not already, I'm saying, I think our time comes eventually, right?
Absolutely.
We'll work hard at it, consistent, and be consistent with it, and deliver. Eventually, the world will say, "Okay, we see you now, finally." And then the rest of us will say you're an overnight success. Which, basically, that's taken 20 years to get to it now to become overnight success,
I love
right?
that.
That's the same for all of us, and I'm lucky to the degree that I found a place in the world after 10 years.
That's so true. Yeah, you're so right, Eddie. That when you eventually make it, sort of being able to come out from the smoke, let me call it like that, because people will say, ah, okay, you it's an overnight success, or you suddenly
Mm.
made it, no? But people don't
Yeah,
understand the
yeah.
hard work that you put there, years after years, people laughing at you. So that you fail and you
Mhm.
fail and you fail again,
Yeah,
but you don't give up.
absolutely. Again, I suppose I've learned that it's not fail, right? It's not fail. And I said, I mean, I realized very quickly when I got into marketing in 2015. I thought I was going to be retired after 2 years. I thought for 2 years of doing this, everyone needs digital marketing, right? Everyone is marketing. So they're gonna run to me. I'm gonna make all the money, have a build a team, make them rich, and then my team will work. I'll be on the beach relaxing. It didn't happen over here. 10 years on, I'm still working as hard now as I've ever worked, right? Probably working just a bit smarter now. And so I found a place. It's a great thing. It really is.
Absolutely. But anyway, yeah, I think that is
Well,
the more joyful part of it. That you love what you are doing and you are doing it with all the joy. Now, you are not really worried. You are happy because the success now come every day. And of course, that also means a
mm,
little doses of the failure. In that the success is not something that is going to happen just one day. It's actually happening every day. And because it's happening every
yeah.
day, you are getting the momentum to keep on fighting, to keep on doing it.
Mm,
And I think it is a great
mm.
thing. I'm talking of, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
talking of doing it, Annie. There is something really important. When, of course, I know that you'll be writing this book for a long time because a book is not a day job. You take a lot of time to write it, to research it, to pour yourself into it, and eventually, the
Mm,
magic happen when you have the book printed and you have it in front of you. Annie, let's start from there.
yeah.
Show the people the magic that you have in your hands right now.
Oh, look at that. So this is my book, The Lessons We Learned from COVID. It's an anthology. It's a remarkable book. So I love it. I love to feel the book in my hand. So I love the whole experience of having a book that is a real book, right?
That's lovely.
It's like a dream. It's like a dream come true a bit. So I've always wanted to be an author because part of my toolkit is helping people to write their book, publish their book, and sell their books. So therefore, the other half of what I spend my days doing is the audio rooms, as you well know, right? No, but no, but helping people publish their books has always been a thing that I really enjoy doing, and it makes a huge difference. There's a stats out there. 8 out of 10 people want to publish their book, but only 1 out of 10 actually gets to publish their book and then make money from it. So my whole life's about changing that equation. I want 4 out of 10 of them, 4 out of 8 to publish their books and make money. So that's what I spend my whole days doing. Of course, to do that, it makes sense for me to become an author myself, right? If I'm not an author, I feel a bit disingenuous. I think that I'm always one to believe that you have to be incongruent, aligned in alignment, right? What I do for my clients, I must do for me. Otherwise, do I really believe what I'm doing? So becoming an author was always part of my dream. Of course, I've gone through the whole cycle of I got nothing to say. I got no. Who cares what I have to say? I don't know enough. But then suddenly I've realized I do know enough. Like what I know is more than enough for someone to learn from. But that's what we've written a book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, since the first time that I interviewed you, how many years ago is that now? Any? I don't know.
What,
I think I said that time that any you need to write a
two, two,
book.
2 years?
You need to write a book,
Yeah,
any.
two, no, over two
Yeah.
years. Yes, yes. And I remember you saying that too. And yes, like I say, like, there's always that fear in the back of our minds that we've got nothing to say. What do I have to say? So, but the difference now is that I found a place, I found a sense of purpose. I found an area of business, of marketing that I'm truly specialist at. So that's when I said to myself, okay, I have got an approach that I can share with the world. Of course, now you mentioned the failures earlier. So I don't really see it as failures, and I see it as lessons learned. You know, 2 years ago, could I have written a book? Maybe I could have, but I didn't feel I could have. Right? I didn't feel I learned enough. Now, I think I'm writing the best part of 10 books at least. So I'm trying to slow them down, the other ones down. That way, it doesn't conflict with this one. Because as you well know, every book needs marketing hard. So I'm trying to give each book a chance to breathe, a chance to be marketed properly, and before we start the next one.
Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going to talk about a lot of your books that you are going to write. Of course, you have got it to the stage. You are no longer a baby. So, I mean, at your age, your experience can be treasured because you have lived. When you have lived,
No,
you talk
thank you.
about your life. You know,
No, you sound like I'm halfway to death. I probably am.
no,
I'm
no, no,
49,
no,
right?
not at all, not at all. When you have over 30 years, you have lived
Mm,
because you have
yeah.
passed through a lot of things, a lot of hurdles, a lot of challenges in life. Because what is the book anyway, or what is this idea of the story that we are telling, or the storytelling at the end of the day, is that we are just sharing our
Mm.
experiences, what have happened to us, and
Yeah, no, it's true.
mhm,
I agree with you entirely. Everyone's got a story in them. Everyone has something to share with the world. So, like you say, whether it's your journey, to get to a point, whether it's your experience, that it's something you've learned, whether it's a skill you have, whether it's the life you lived. Everyone's got a story in them over here. I agree with that entirely. And many of us wait too long to actually tell our story. So now the sooner we realize that we do, we can, we can help someone with what we've seen, what we've heard, what we've been through. The sooner we can start, writing our books and benefiting the world. Really, like I always say, when you benefit the world, the money comes, and they buy your book, right? It is all that.
thank you for that. Of course, a lot of people are listening to hear your voice. It is good. It is good to do this. Eddie, tell me, what is your motivation for writing this book? Why do you, at a point, made up your mind after all those negative thoughts in your mind? Okay, how can I be? Can I also be an author? Can I? But now you have made it. But what motivated you to take that bold step?
I like that you've made it. So I wish I had. I wish I had made it. Right, it's a journey over here, as you well know, right? Look for this book. As it said, the title "Lessons We Learn from COVID-19." Again, I think that COVID was a moment in time, right? And in truth, I truly believe people will be asking in years to come, what happened in COVID? Human nature has a way of forgetting the facts. And of course, our kids, their kids will be asking eventually what happened in COVID. Much like now, many of us ask today, what happened in the Black Plague? What happened when Ebola strikes? What happened, right? So, given that we all went through COVID, I had no excuse. I couldn't tell myself, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to write. Of course I do, right? I was there. So I'm going to tell you my COVID story. Why do I want to do that? Because it gives people a picture of what really happened during a moment in time that was momentous, that a moment of time that the whole world experienced in their own unique way. Yeah. So once we decided on the topic, I chose to do a group book because it satisfies everything that I am. Like I say to you, I want to elevate other people, right? So I could have written my book, my COVID story from back to front in the book. Instead, what we chose to do was to give other people a chance to tell their stories in the same book. Hence, it's an anthology. So there's at the moment there's 8 authors in there. So by the time we finish, there'll be 10 authors in there at least, right? And so given my purpose to elevate other people, to give other people the spotlight, having them co-author the book with us, it's a wonderful thing because it means I haven't had to write every page myself, but two, by having different co-authors from different parts of the world, our readers get a much richer experience because they got literally different stories, right? I always say, there's something in there for everyone, and and there's everything in there for someone. Yeah, you with me?
Absolutely.
If you read all of them, you're gonna get something. Everyone's gonna get something. Even if you're the pickiest person there is, you're still gonna find something in there for you. So that's the beauty of the book.
That's lovely. That's lovely. So, where were you when the COVID-19 broke out? Tell me a bit about your experience. The initial time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're written about in the book, right? That's what we're written about in the book. No, so I was here. I was here literally, right? So we moved to Cornwall, to the southwest of England in 2018. And I was doing more. I was doing more local things. So I go networking locally. I was networking 6 days a week. So I was out there and I'm trying to make friends. Really, in business, I found that you have to get known locally, right? So literally, I was getting myself known. No, I did that in London before the wife said, "Let's move." I'm like, no, I don't want to go to Cornwall. I'm fine. No, I'm just, you spend years building your business to get known by everyone. As soon as you get known, then they start coming to you, right? That's where business is meant to work. Your friends will come, they'll come to you, they refer their friends to you. You got your networks, everything's flowing nicely. Well, when I moved to Cornwall, all that was lost. So I had to start again. So I was building that network slowly but surely. And then COVID struck. COVID came. Of course, we heard. I heard about this Chinese virus. I don't know whether it's Chinese or not. I'm saying that's how it was said in our news. And I guess I prayed that it wouldn't be what they said it would be. I prayed that it wasn't going to be ending. I prayed that they were overplaying how bad it could be. But it became very clear very quickly that it was probably worse than they said it would be. I said part of my COVID journey was then me essentially looking at the numbers, looking at who was dying, and looking at what's been before history, in other words, right? And then you realize, damn, I could be dead tomorrow, literally, right? Who was dying? Essentially, ethnic minorities were dying in huge numbers, right? And over 50s were dying in huge numbers. Any's 40s, Any's 48. Of course, overweight people were dying too, right? In huge numbers. I'm not small. I'm not. I can't say I'm fat, but I'm not small, right? And I'm black. And I was thinking, what the hell? This might just be my time. That's where my COVID experience really. That's the main gist of it, right? So I was living a good life and suddenly to realize that you could die tomorrow. My question to myself was, if I die tomorrow, who would care? Who would really miss me? Who would be upset? Of course, so I've got a young son. He's 15. So of course, he was 13 at the time. He might have cared. My wife might have cared. My sisters might have cared. But you're thinking, is that it? What's the mark I've made on humanity? Who's going to remember me outside my family and friends? And I couldn't figure why they would. And I said, that was my first realization from COVID, that I had to find a way to build a legacy. I had to find a way to build something that the world would say, "Yep, he was alive." We know who he is. You know, See, that's a story. That's probably the first third of my story. If ever you actually want to read, of course, there's a lot more in there. There's a lot more personal information in the book. That's what books are for, right? People get to know you in detail. Because there's things that you wouldn't say ordinarily. I talk about my family, my childhood in Nigeria. I talk about how I got to where I am. Even my life in London, I talk about. My pets. A book's a great thing. You know, it's a wonderful thing.
That's so rich. That's so rich, Eny. When I hear people talk about their experiences, particularly when you look at a situation like this, I think we are actually talking at the level of humanity here. We are talking about our worldview, our belief system, but we have the courage to even say we do. I think that make a lot of
Mm,
difference to put it on paper, put our name on it, sign it, and say, "This is my name. This is what I believe in. This is what I've passed through."
yeah, mm. For sure. Like I say, of course. Now, being the organizer of the anthology, I've read everyone's story. Being a publisher, I've read everyone's story over and over and over. So I know the stories. And believe you me, like COVID made us question ourselves, question humanity. And I guess many of us. I think again, I'm sure it's not just us and the authors in the book. Many of us, will realize that we weren't living our best life. We weren't being brave. We weren't creating. We just. Yeah, I think part of my aim from when I was a child, a young adult, was simply okay. I got through childhood. I'm an adult now, right? And so that when you're an adult, you get a job, you work the job, and eventually you retire, and then you die. You were talking about this before we came on show, right? I'm saying that's life. That's how it's meant to go, right? Whereas COVID made me truly realize there must be more to life than this. There must be more, because and it really is, then suddenly then comes the awakening. Yes, there is more to life, and that more to life is down to us to truly create something. We have to create something. Whether that's in a business, whether that's in a personal life. But we must we must find a sense of purpose. Because it's everything. Like I say, for me, leads to that big question: how are you going to how are you going to be remembered when you die? So that's a gravestone epitaph question, right? But it's also a legacy question, really. And do we dare to build a legacy? If we don't, what's going to happen? A lot of people have this thing about, when you say legacy, when you say what's going to be on your gravestone, they think, oh well, that happened when I die. See, my realization was no, you have to do it now, otherwise there'll be nothing on your gravestone. Why wait till you die to do great things, for to say great things about you? Live the life now. Do great things now. That's been my challenge. That's why, literally, once I realized that there's a gap, there's something missing. Of course, life has this funny way of putting people in front of you who you need at the right time.
Yeah.
So just when I was saying, right, what am I going to do? What's my legacy? My business is going around in circles. I'm not making any money, just going around in circles, right? So suddenly I found someone that said, no, I think we do storytelling over here. So I found a guide, and the guide was a mindset genius. And that's where I found my purpose. That's when I realized it's not other people's problem, it's my problem. It's in me to do anything I want to do. Before that, it didn't dawn on me at all. I never knew. And as soon as I made that choice, suddenly the word says any, yes, you can have it. Any you can do it. You can write a book. Any you can be a legend in a LinkedIn audio space. Any you can make clients truly famous by publishing their books or selling their books for them. So if I hadn't committed to change and to be, someone who does something remarkable, I'd probably still be the same person I was. But I'm a whole different person now, my friend. And with that comes a different business, a bit different life. Everything's different. That's why I credit my mindset coach for everything.
Yeah, that is powerful. That is powerful. That is really powerful. I like what you were saying. And when people wait for the last time to do it, as if maybe a magic is going to happen, only that there is no guarantee that you are going to be there the last time. Because you don't even know when you are going to die and how you are going to die, whether you're even going to be buried. You might be flying in the air and the plane just, that is the end of it.
Yeah.
Because you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what is going to happen.
Of course we don't. We really, really don't know. You go outside and get run over by someone, right? And that's it. Worse still, you get run over and you're still alive, but brain dead. I say, that's ruined everything. You can't do anything from there on, can you? I'm saying you're stuck. So one of my friends, Kelly Gilbert, I was giving credit. It came up with a very smart saying, which almost haunted me. But he said it was basically this: we only get two lives, but you only start living your best life when you realize you've only got one life left. Let me say that again: you only get two lives, right? But you only start living your best life when you realize you've only got one life left.
All right, I'm going to say something to that. You see, during the COVID-19, that is actually when this podcast was born, the Obehi podcast. Of course, I'll be doing interview forever, but this podcast actually was born at that time. The story is a long one. I was actually at the hospital at the time. Before then, I've been in the hospital before because something happened to me. I was in my workplace where I slumped. I was doing night. It was so serious that nobody could guarantee that I would make it. For 14 days of my life, when I was medically induced to coma, it was literally between life and death. That was the moment that what I've been doing for nearly 10 years up until that time began to make sense to me. Of course, after I have waken up from my coma, then I have to ask myself, why are you doing this? When Steve Jobs said in Stanford that you can only connect the dot when you look back, you cannot connect it when you are looking forward. When I connected the dot, I could see the reason why I'm doing this. And of course, during that COVID-19, while I was in the hospital, because my sickness at the time, because I've gone through that period, but now as of COVID-19 at the 2020, even though I was in the hospital then again, but I was not really medically challenged in the sense that I couldn't do anything. So I had my computer with me in the hospital, which of course is something different from in some other places now. I connected my computer to the internet and I did a series of interviews throughout my stay in the hospital.
Really?
Every day.
That's brilliant.
Every day, talking to people from Canada to US to UK to Nigeria, China. My question was simply, how are you living this moment? Because it have never happened before that the economy, our life was shut down. What is the meaning of this for you? And of course, I think we have the chance to talk about it. What have happened during the COVID-19 led to a lot of innovation, led to a lot of industry just springing up. The industry that we are leveraging just now, the communication where we are chatting with video. Of course, it had been
Yeah.
there before then, but Zoom as a company actually got a boost, a big boost at the time because everybody is locked
Yeah.
up.
No.
You need to talk. So I think the
Yeah.
essential message for me is that we get to a point where we realize that there is a deep sense behind what you are doing. And when you realize that, you have a different picture, a different approach, a different understanding, and a different way of living your life. That is so
Yeah.
fundamental. Yeah,
No.
please go.
I think you can't unsee what you can't be unaware of what you suddenly realize, right? That's once you face once you look in the mirror and you see that there's more to you than you've been telling yourself. That we're not doing. We're not fulfilling our purpose. There's no there's more meaning for us being alive, right? We all have a unique, at least one unique skill that the world needs. I think it's whether we're willing to embrace it and serve our purpose almost, or whether we want to carry on living the sheltered, you know, the small life. So I'm glad that you chose to step out of your comfort zone and do more with your talents, right? And I'm thinking, your books, your storytelling books must have come about the same time, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is what it's all about.
Mm.
And now I am
Yeah.
developing a signature program. It's not yet ready. Probably it's going to be ready by the 30th of this month, or maybe a little bit, maybe like as we move it to August. And it's entirely about helping people to own their voice. And this is going to be here for a long time. This is more like a mission to me. Book writing. Of course, it's not the first time I've written a book. I wrote my first book. I was in Nigeria. One of my books actually was accepted at the University of Verona, the city where I live. I've never gone to
Excellent.
thank you. I've
Congratulations.
never gone to a university. For the fact that
Why haven't they made you Doctor over here yet? What are they waiting for?
no, I'm really saying that it is important for us to download what we have in our head on the paper because this is our way of making a dent in the universe because we need to do this. This is the only chance we have.
Yeah, I truly agree. No, I always say writing a book is, it's a gift for humanity that all authors give, right? Because look around you today, my friends. We're reading books from hundreds of years ago, Charles Dickens, and any of the other old books that you catch, Shakespeare. We have to carry on, right? I'm saying, why shouldn't people be reading our books in years to come? They can, they
Yes, you're
will.
right.
If we don't write them, they'll never read them, right? So we have to write them. People, we read bad books today from time. So even if our book is bad, Obehi, it still be there.
Absolutely.
It's still be in the annals of history, and it'll still be there if someone's going to pick it up sometime. And people will learn something. People will know. Everyone learns something from a book. Maybe it's the way my brain works. I tend to find that I'm working on something, right? I got to write a blog, for example. I have to do an audio room, and I can always open something to read, and I find things in there that I can use, for what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Like when I was at school, it's the same thing. Literally, if I'm doing an assignment, an essay, or whatever, right? It's a pure exercise in if not now, then when. Our time is now. Let's crack on.
Absolutely.
Let's get on with it. Let's embrace
You
it
know something,
because
Eny? People don't understand the power of a book. You see, look at where we are coming from. For example, Nigeria. No, I know of some people in my locality, in my town, in Uromi, for example, who are worthy of not just one book, but series of book. There is a man from my town, actually, is a second king of Uromi. His name is Agbanoji. Now, I've written series of articles about him. He is known as the Esan god of war. Now, at the time, as of 1300, the Oba of Benin brought a war to Esan because The Esan people, of course, led by him, said they were not going to pay homage to the Oba of Benin because they wanted independence. This led to the war. And one of the most powerful warrior Oba of Benin, known as Oba Ozola, brought this war to Esan. And the Oba will die in that war. And this same man, the king of Oromi, will also die in the war. Now, this is just an oversimplification of the story. But for the fact that the Oba of Benin died in this war, and this king died in this war, this king is called the god of war, I think there should be more than 50 books written about him. And now, you see, Uromi, there are a lot of educated people. I say it often time, I say it intentionally because I want to challenge them. People who are 100 times better than me, who can write this book. What are we waiting for? Because, please go. Because
I swear my granddad was a chief in Urumi, I swear. I was there at least once when I went back. And as an adult, obviously, those who don't know, I grew up in Nigeria, and literally, in Ishan, which is next door to Urumi. And so granddad used to go to Urumi every Sunday, if not every other Sunday at least, right? And meet with the locals. So I got to go only once as an adult to realize it's quite, he was quite important in Urumi. I was amazed, right? And then to find you here, Obehi, so the world is it's a mystery, right?
Yeah.
Magic things happen.
Thank you, my brother. I think people need to understand the importance of book.
I'm hoping Granddad wrote some books about Urumi, really.
Please find something.
Of course, he wrote many books about Ishan. Of course,
find something and let's talk about it. It's important.
Irua, and I wrote many books. Maybe that's part of my inspiration. The fact that we can over here. What else can we say to people, right? We can. And you and I, by writing books, we've shown them that we really can. We're not just talking. Package your knowledge and help humanity and help yourself at the same time. So the excitement of people. You and I have been in an audio room before where I mentioned my granddad's books and people, Nigerians who know, my granddad's writings. They've gone crazy, right? With ecstasy. Nothing gets people more excited than talking about someone's books. And it's it is a legacy. It's an income. It's a door opener. It's literally what is going to put you above all else. And I tell my friends, once you write a book, the day your book is published, you're an expert in your field, whatever that field is. Now, when people want someone to come and speak about your topic, they'll find you first because they'll find your book. Now, they go and look on Amazon. The news people, they go and look on Amazon. The media goes to look on Amazon. That's where you want to be, on the first page of results by being a bestseller. Maybe that's what puts people off over here. They're too scared that their book will flop. They're too scared that no one's going to want to read their book. And if you don't write it, no one's going to read your book, right?
You don't even have any chance.
You have exactly. Literally write the book, my friend, and then market it properly. People will want to learn from you.
Absolutely.
They really will.
And on a personal note, Eny, I think you need to do some work on that, your grandfather. Let's celebrate him. Why those books? Let's
there are many over here. There are many.
Find all of them. If there are so many, then we can build a library on it because these are our heritage. They are our heritage.
Over here, different era, and I'd have to go there and find them, right? I'd have to go to Nigeria to go and find them because, in this day and age, the internet makes everything easy. In those days, the systems are not that easy. Again, just think, when we publish a book, there is a barcode, right? There's a barcode right there, which is an international register for all books. I'm saying, in those days, was it ISBN there? Because if there's an ISBN for all the print books that he did, I can find them easily. I don't know how else I could find all of them. I've got 2 or 3 here, to be fair. So I've talked to it on my shelves. So but I know he wrote a lot more. Then there's some with pamphlets, some were very small books. So one of the ones I look at, he wrote the history of Iroa, and then also naming, how to name children, in our custom. I'm saying those are two great
And I'm
books.
sure that when your son
Yeah.
pick up those books and he read about his grandfather, he's going to be very, very
Mm.
proud of himself.
Yeah, that's why I did. The joy in his face when this book got delivered. I'm he's like, "You're an author." I'm like, "Yeah, I am." He's nice. It's a funny one with me and my son because I remember one day he said to me, "Dad, if by the time I'm 60 I haven't done anything remarkable, I'll do something drastic." And I looked at him. I thought, that sounds ominous. I'm like, There's suddenly it hit me. I'm like, okay, all right. I worked it out. And goes, what? I said, no need to do anything drastic, right? If you get to 60, you'd have done one or two things which make you remarkable.
Absolutely.
The first one is the first option. I said the first thing you're gonna have to do is have kids. That makes you remarkable straight away because now you got, a legacy, right? Now suddenly you got a generation that comes after you. You're helping towards the future of mankind by being a parent. I said the second thing that you can do, if all else fails, is write a book because that will give you a place in humanity that will never be taken away. That's how important books are,
So
really.
beautiful. So beautiful.
That's
For somebody that probably
you
do
know.
not get it yet, you see, when you talk of the year, something around 1910, you say, but who were living at that time? Many people were living at that time, but we still remember
Mhm.
names like Walter Wallace, who wrote the book, The Science of Getting Rich. But he wasn't the only person that was living at the time. What about the millions of people that were there at the time? Their name are
Yeah,
missing.
the names are not missing. There's no point remembering them over here. The ones that deserve mention they will remember them. Nightingale, like Mr. Conan, Henry Ford. I'm saying these are the ones I picked that are written about. These are the ones that wrote books. I'm saying that those who didn't, you can't expect to be remembered when they have nothing to be remembered for. But our point is that when you write a book, they have to remember
They have
you.
no choice.
But yeah, because you're there, you're on the map. Don't write a book. You are literally letting everything you know die with you.
But you
Literally.
see, the question is, okay, this is one of the things that I actually discussed in my 5-part signature program. That the money is good.
Mm,
Nobody is disputing money. But if money is the only
mm,
thing you get, talking of maybe even material wealth is the only thing that you want to call your legacy, remember one thing.
mm.
The day that you die, the person that is now in charge of your material wealth have the option to either cancel your name from it. If it is money,
Yeah,
what they just need to do is that the person put the money on his or her hands. That is now the new owner of the
yeah.
money because there is no way your name can be written on the money. But if you
No,
have
of
something
course.
like your story, your book, there is no way anybody can change that. It is not possible.
Truly. No, again, I think I might take it back a bit and say, this is all about people who help other people, right? This is about doing it. You get remembered for doing things that help other people. If you improve your village, there might be a statue for you, for example. I'm saying that's a way to remember you, right? If you help people, people will say things about you long after you die. If you write a book, then of course that's I said earlier, that's a task for humanity. So they'll naturally remember you. If you make a film, they'll remember you, right? Because even if it's a bad film, like if you dare to create something that others can enjoy and benefit from, no, we have to remember you because suddenly they say you're on the map. You did something, and I'm not sure whether the book thing it's a cost issue over here. I don't know what that is really. I don't know whether the process is Western dominated. Maybe that's what people think. But I know many Nigerians have written books, and they have different ages, and not just Nigerians, many Africans have written books, right? It's a choice one has to make, and but it comes down to you mentioned it just now. It's telling our story, right? We must tell our story. Even if it's a tragic story, we must tell it. Go, sorry.
You know, okay, I've written several books. The one that I'm really very, very proud of is the biography that I wrote about my eldest brother. Because we grew up from a family that was the poorer of the poorest. We were very poor. Because my father died, of course, we were very young and we were very many. So this man have to really take up the responsibility of helping us to stand. Okay, my brother is not a writer. He doesn't need to be a writer. My brother have helped me, so I am going to protect that name. I am very positive that whatever happened today, anything happened to all of us today, many, many years to come, somebody's going to pick up that book and ask, who is Emmanuel Ewanfo? Because that name is really become something that you cannot ignore. It is impossible to ignore it.
It becomes a real person, right? It becomes a person. Don't forget, you sent me a copy of that book ahead of the other room we did, and I was amazed. I think I was emotional about it really, because the way you describe our day to day took me back to when I was a kid in Era. Wandering through the bushes, sweep making broomsticks. Literally, it took me back to when I was a kid. Because you explain you explain all that so graphically. You see, again, a story. Your story is how you see it, right? Again, I remember, the way you tell the story. Yes, maybe you might be poor financially, but emotionally and in terms of joy and happiness, you were very wealthy. As a family, you were amazingly rich, right? So that's a joy of a book. Again, I think in every book over here, even in my COVID book, I encourage my co-authors to take themselves back to that time that they're talking about, right? Go and take yourself back to that moment and describe what do you see, what do you hear, what do you smell, and then take us as readers back to that moment. Put us in that picture, you know, and if you can elevate someone, then do so, because because every story needs a guide over here, right? But this. I say every story needs a guide, right? And I'm saying to my co-authors, you didn't survive COVID by yourself. Who guided you? Who supported you? Who showed you the way? When I put it that way, suddenly start remembering that. Oh, my dad was remarkable. I mean, my dad, my brother, my sister. And I'm saying, don't just say that. Name them. Put them in a book. Let them when they read the book, which they will. Let them see themselves. Because people never see themselves the way they are. They don't see themselves the way we see them, right? But you paint a picture of how glorious that person really is in your life. Now you have one chance, maybe. Take your chance and do it now. If you write another book, maybe you can elevate them again. But literally, a book is so many things to so many people, right? It can make people, it can make families. Like your book for your brother, for example. I can imagine the joy he would feel at seeing the way you paint a picture of what he truly was to all of you. That's a gift that you have.
Thank you, Eny. And I really believe maybe in the future we'll be able to do more of this, because we do have a project we call Life and Legacy, where we need to elevate and celebrate the people who show that we are standing on in the African diaspora community, and of course in Africa too. Anyway, that is a discussion for another day. The lesson we learned from COVID. So, what really is this lesson,
Yeah.
Eny? Tell me more about that.
Oh, no, there are many lessons. When you got 10 authors, you have 10 different sets of lessons, truly, right? If I had to sort of group them together, like I say, that legacy question is a lesson well learned. We have to live a legacy. And I don't say leave, Leave. I'm saying we have to live, Live. Live in your legacy now. That's a lesson we will learn. Now, don't wait till tomorrow. Do it now, right? Because it's a bit late tomorrow. Because you never know. You may never. Maybe you will see tomorrow. That's one set of lessons I say we learned. For a lot of people learned the quirk of humanity, right? Humans are we're funny creatures. And I don't know whether you remember that one of the standout things about COVID was the toilet roll battles in shops. I'm sure you remember that, right? Who would have thought the most important thing in the world to everyone was toilet roll? Who would have thought? Toilet roll sold out. How could toilet roll sell out anywhere? It sold out everywhere. People were going shops and COVID really hit. When people were dying and people couldn't go to funerals. The community suddenly rallied around everyone, even though they couldn't, really do anything. They couldn't physically meet sometimes, but people, we had to support each other and grow together. I said no one survived COVID by themselves. It took everyone to get through COVID. It truly did. So whether it's us, the scientists, the health workers who were suffering, I think the teachers who suddenly realized have a way, of doing what they do now, and they're gifted. To those even like us online, suddenly us creators online became important, right? You and I do audio together, so don't forget, now COVID's when audio really took off. And I'm talking about Clubhouse. Before COVID, the Clubhouse didn't exist. It really wasn't. It was nothing. No one knew about it, right? Suddenly, there was a place where everyone went to go and congregate to talk. It's because you couldn't go out and talk to anyone else, around you. We all went online and started talking rubbish on Clubhouse. It's evolved since, clearly, right, into different platforms. Twitter Spaces, LinkedIn Audio. I'm saying, audio really took off then. So, there's so many lessons that we learned, right? Again, so many others learned, the power of relationships. There's at least one person whose story simply, you know, I never knew how important my farm, my family's farm is or was. Suddenly when you can't buy what you need from the shops because the shops are empty. Shops are empty. We can't make any money because we can't go to work. Suddenly, the local farm in Nigeria becomes where they find food, and it's where the whole community finds food when the neighbors are begging and starving. I'm saying that there's so many stories over here. Yeah, you'd be amazed. I'm amazed that people actually went through all of that. I'm even more. I feel even more blessed that I should tell the stories. That's a gift.
Lovely, lovely. All right, Eny. Now, people that want to read this book, where can they find it? Share with them.
So the book is on Amazon. I don't know when you're going to publish this podcast, right? I said we're going to launch the book in a LinkedIn audio event in a. I think I'm looking at something like the 5th of August. Okay, in which case the book is on Amazon for sure. Amazon is my favorite bookstore because I understand Amazon. I help my clients with Amazon. I know how it works, right? That's it. Just enter the title, it'll be there. Worst case, enter the title and my name. The Eny Osung. There's the lessons were done from COVID-19, Enyos and the Eny Osung, and it will come up. It's available as an ebook and as a print book.
Lovely.
So you have no reason not to buy it, my friends. I would rather you bought on the 5th of August because I'm trying to coordinate our sales to that day that we have more chance of becoming bestsellers. Now, for bestseller, of course, you have to sell the most books in the categories in a category in a 24-hour period. So, I would love to add your listeners, your friends, your viewers to my email list. That way, I can keep you updated and I send you the link at the right time to buy the book on the right date. If someone can also go and buy the book now over here, they can, right?
That's lovely.
So the ebook I've made five times more expensive. It's on launch dates. We'll go with the launch price, right? The launch price I think is $2. Try and buy it today is $10 deliberately. I don't want you to buy it today. Wait till the 5th of August. Wait till launch date. If you really want to buy it, I'm gonna sell
All right,
right?
that is the marketer talking. Eny Osung.
I think it's important to get bestseller for me.
No, absolutely.
Because I make other people bestselling authors. I must, I would love to support them to make that happen. Right?
That is a good challenge, and also for those of